welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be discussing Crash Into Me by Rerun. Now before we get started, just as a warning, there will be spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled on this manhwa, then go ahead and click off now. No worries, I'll catch you next time. Now for those of you who remain, let's talk about some content warnings. So in this particular manhwa, there may be mentions of suicidal ideation, physical and sexual abuse, rape, violence, blood, homophobia, slut-shaming, coercion, PTSD, suicide, obsession, death, dubious consent, and BDSM. If all that sounds good to you though, let's get started. So first off, let's get a quick synopsis. Seung-chan has had it rough for a while. Work has been stressful enough as it is, but now he can't even relax at home as every night is interrupted by raucous lovemaking in the apartment above his. He's at the end of his rope when he sees Hee-sung smoking out of the window of that very apartment. Hee-sung doesn't look like the kind of guy that would make so much noise, but before Seung-chan can even begin to question him, Hee-sung seems like he's going to throw himself out of the window. Seung-chan can hardly believe it and screams to stop him, only to find that Hee-sung was just playing around and didn't intend to throw himself out like that. Naturally, Seung-chan is neither impressed, nor does he find this display funny. Even so, he can't help being intrigued by his mysterious upstairs neighbor. However, this intrigue becomes more of an obsession as Seung-chan runs into Hee-sung, only to find him battered and bruised. Seung-chan desperately wants to save Hee-sung, but how can he save a man who doesn't want to be saved? So let's talk about the art first. The cover really just doesn't do this any justice. It's much prettier in the work itself over the cover art. That doesn't mean it's perfect, but it's pretty. It gives me Fargo and Like vibes if you've ever read anything from them. If those two decided to collab on something, I feel like this is what it would look like. More specifically, Hee-sung looks like Cho-won from Love is an Illusion, and Ayan from Blind Play had a baby together. With all that being said, I think this is very pretty, and I wish there were more works from this artist out there because I'd buy them up in an instant for the art alone. It's a shame this is primarily black and white because the color panels are stunning. Now, while the art is certainly to my taste, the story is a bit less so. I really like Hee-sung's story of being racked with guilt over his first love's death and as a result putting himself in the line of fire for the deceased brother to exact revenge on him, though it is unwarranted in my opinion. What I don't care for is how quickly Seung-chan falls in love with Hee-sung and how obsessive he becomes over him to the point that it's toxic. I totally get him wanting to save Hee-sung, but how he goes about it feels just as dangerous and aggressive as the aggressor. I wish Seung-chan had been more fluffy and calculating in trying to protect Hee-sung rather than being that strong-willed, aggressive type. I wish Hee-sung had been the character we followed from the beginning, as I think it would have helped Seung-chan's character. Hee-sung has had a rough life, and he definitely plays that stray cat type, which I love. Seung-chan is meant to be this loving puppy dog character, I believe, but I think it leans into it to an extreme, to the point that he's nearly as bad as the abusive rapist Hee-sung lives with. I think we're supposed to forgive him for being obsessive and controlling because it comes from a place of love, but that's not the case for me. I found him to be annoying and creepy, especially when he fantasizes about his own rape scenario with Hee-sung, just because Hee-sung ends up returning to the abusive asshole. Yes, he doesn't act on the fantasy, but it was still disturbing to see when he was supposed to be the puppy dog male lead we're rooting for. So Hee-sung is stuck between a rapist and an obsessive asshole. I love Hee-sung so much as a character, which doesn't bode well for Seung-chan since Seung-chan is cruel to him sometimes. Now the relationship isn't all bad or toxic. Seung-chan does take care of Hee-sung and protects him. I also have to say that I love that the rapist actually does have consequences in this. I can't tell you how often rape occurs in BL and the rapist just gets away scot-free, if he doesn't end up becoming the love interest for that matter. In this case, the rapist is caught and persecuted, which feels great. Now, with all that being said, I do like this, but I'm not sure if I would readily recommend it to most people. This is another one I hate not to recommend because I like how pretty it looks, but it's just not that great story-wise. It had its high points, mainly when Hee-sung was the focus, but Seung-chan is our main character, which wasn't ideal. I have reread this twice now, once for the first time and a second time for this review. I'd say this might be worth it if you're in between reads at the moment and need to fill a gap, but otherwise you may want to wait for something better. I do want to read more from Rerun as an artist though, because they do create some beautiful panels. So, have you read Crash Into Me? If so, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you not? Let me know and comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Bye!